Welcome to Broken Age, a point-and-click adventure game developed by the beautiful mind of Tim Schafer and his company Double Fine, who you may also know as the brilliant minds behind games like Monkey Island, Grim Fandango, Psychonauts, and Brutal Legend. The game was originally titled Double Fine Adventure as a Kickstarter project and was set for a goal of $400,000, but blew that goal away, eventually reaching a total of $3.45 million. Allowing the game to be developed with a better quality, including better voice actors and a larger amount of playable devices, including Mac and Linux. But getting past the development of the game, let's take a look at some of the key features of the game mentioned on Steam, which include but are not limited to pointing, clicking, an original soundtrack, all-star voice cast, dialogue trees, some jokes unless you didn't think they're funny, in which case we totally weren't trying to be funny, a whole bunch of puzzles, this one really hard puzzle that you won't get but you'll look up online and totally not tell anybody, and all of your hopes and dreams. Though the last key feature may not actually be true, everything else mentioned is 100% there. The humor is spot on and I found myself laughing out loud in real life at multiple of the jokes, from actually well-written stuff to just stupid wordplay jokes.
Yeah. I haven't done a stool in so long.
The delivery of these jokes would definitely not be as great without the all-star cast, including some of my favorite voice actors, Richard Horowitz, the voice behind Invader Zim, and the coolest guy in the world, Jack Black. The variety of characters are also extremely enjoyable, from super cute fluffy yarn people to this creepy guy who I just get a bad feeling from.
To help these creatures, you will need to put yourself at risk in a way she could never understand.
No, you're right.
The story is also amazing. I won't ruin a single thing about it, but it is definitely a great experience that needs to be enjoyed firsthand. The art direction was also a great idea. Taking a 2D style over a 3D style really made the gameplay great, keeping the sense of old school adventure while still having some of the most beautiful scenes I have seen in a long time. And all of this beautiful art is obviously accompanied by a glorious musical score, and some of the greatest sound effects I have ever heard. And since I think I've gushed about the visuals and audio enough, let's actually get into some of the gameplay. Broken Age is split into two separate stories, one following Vela, a young woman looking to break the traditions of offering human sacrifices to a giant monster, and Shay, who is also trying to break the tradition of a boring, overly safe lifestyle on a spaceship controlled by a computer. The game allows you to start off with either of these stories, and during each playthrough, if you get bored of the one, you can switch over to the other at any time, though I myself played through each story individually. Both stories are a decent length, and my total playtime for both stories combined was a little over 4 hours, which is a bit short, but there is another act coming out in the future for free, which will add even more playtime. Every point-and-click adventure game also includes tons of puzzles, and Broken Age is no exception. Though for someone used to the genre, the puzzles are fairly simple, and there were only 2 times I got really stuck on a puzzle. Though hopefully the difficulty of the puzzles will be amped up in Act 2. The last thing I want to talk about in the game is the large amount of freedom and decisions. Other than the already mentioned ability to switch between 2 stories, there are multiple different dialogue options you can choose, from which sometimes can or can't change what happens in the game. The other great thing that was added was an ability to skip cutscenes, which has to be one of the most useful things ever. Without it, I would have been angrier than I needed to be. Overall, looking at the full game, it's hard to find something wrong with it, and I really couldn't. I myself can't wait for the second act of the game. The game will be openly available for the public on January 28th, and I say this is one game this year you will need to pick up. The asking price is $24.99 or $22.49 for pre-purchasing it now, and it's well worth the content, plus the free Act 2 content coming in the future.